And it is showtime now. So this is probably going to be the last ever we have a podcast, at least maybe until March, just so I can give DonBrothers justice, since I haven't seen the movie subbed out yet, and there's two spinoffs, not 20. Two spinoffs for the 20th anniversary of Hurricaneer and Alba Ranger. So I might do that in March, but for now, basically taking winter off from here and maybe permanently from this channel, because I already started I could make an archive footage. I already did that for Arcade History or Two already for my theme episodes. I'll have some bonus videos and archive footage. You'll need that for stuff, but for now, today we're going from Halloween to Christmas, basically with superhero time, plus some Christmas movies. I was thinking of doing a separate Christmas special earlier, because it kind of ran out of content to do, but I decided against it with all the stress from finals and all. So further ado, Halloween to Christmas plus Familia, first half. So round one ended with entering a new armor like the monster form, which ends up being used by Punk Jack for the next set of games. There's small little pieces as well, little armors as well that they get. They're used a bit more in the earlier rounds of the next round. And Ace wanted to be a family with the DGP, so he sides. So a little struggle, but she has to do it anyway. Meanwhile, in DonBrothers is doing questions, the meaning of youth. So that's I think it's Live Man. I believe, and after learning the Juto Harukas, Aunt lets Tsubasa go and keep an eye on Natsumi to see if she's a bestial, but gets captured by the cop guy in the Juto Woods where he's cloned. And then the following week, he finds him and he's able to escape and defeats his clone. But the clone was able to become Inu brother anyway. And that week was Go-Go 5 based. You got the courage to go back into the fight finally. Felt like it was like a hot minute where he was kind of out, but and then meanwhile Win joins full time. That was Punk Jack, and you get two new characters show up. The new girl introduced just dies immediately, and Nago gets back into the game. Yeah, at the end of that episode. And for the game that was capture the flag thing where I was with the other two, and then Tycoon was with the other two. Tycoon was out and Naga wasn't, and so Mashinga Bufa was with the other two, and then comes at the end of after that first and another first round with her new Beats form, and then Tycoon is captured in the following up to his sister with a group on a bus, and the next episodes ends up getting absurding the old man who either leaves or dies happy, basically. And in that case, we're introduced to the Yamato writers, who are based on who steal the source of the older writers. Basically, and so you have a whole arc there with musical chairs, which basically ends up with Wen kind of having second thoughts about his role with the DGP, but ends up being possessed by getting possessed by Goro, who uses the counter glare power. Interesting power. We only see it one other time, at least so far. It might go on to someone else who's introduced in this arc, as well, who awards Geets a new power, and then Goro is able to clone it for Tycoon. So that's how both get them, and they duel each other in the recent episode. But And that same week, we got a new Noto warrior, and so basically everybody agrees to try and sabotage him, and so the new guy is gone basically after that, but he might be back for the end game. And then for Thanksgiving, we have all the writers get a new lottery based driver piece, and so you can have that's what's like when you have like can double up, and that's one of the most powerful forms that they have at this time. And then also Tsubasa gets into a cooking competition after a critic interrupts a fight. The teams get into a restaurant, so she takes him to because he wins a lot of money from basically turning Tsubasa in. And each side fights over eggs, and then we see more signs of I think return twice in this arc since it was original debut. I think it's going to come back not next week or the week after because New Year it's off. But and also at that time there's also the idea that you have in case another goes bad, in case Notor goes bad, there's someone who will fight him, and if there's like if an accident or if the replacement gets fucked up, there's someone else. There's another robot that was in the hands of Jiro's adopted father that basically helps knock them out and away into the universe. And so that week was a Jacka-based one, which kind of makes sense with the cyborgs stuff going on there. And then with Ace and Neon learn more about the backers. And at the end of this, we learn that it's definitely that people do watch those backers that watch, the people that watch what's going to play into the new arc for the new year. Because it kind of feels like this is where the original villain is basically killed off or pulled out of contention, like in 01 and Saber in the previous season, the Rail era, but still feels a little learning. Like basically everything is kind of continuing status quo, but with a new twist. And I'm guessing the producer guy who now has the glare power is going to become the new antagonist in a way. And I don't think Sumiyoshi might be a bit more like neutral and would probably be possessed or something if she were to go evil, in my opinion. And also Tsubasa ends up with Lord Same, which is kind of interesting, and Sunibali tells him that it can defeat the Jimato. But however, she's a little twist that it would be because that if she defeats the Bisha one, the real one will come back. But but in reality, if one dies before the other is awakened, both are gone. The law and so Surin's case would kind of take over Christmas, and part of it's because Santa's kind of been like kind of like a Scrooge or a Grinch of all things, but Momotaro once gave him all his toys one Christmas, and so Taro was saving up all his money in hopes of returning to doing the favor again one day. And that helps Sandu his monster's form is based off Maskman better and finish his duty. And also Bufa dies in this arc, and he ends up he's now going to become a new Jimato base, I guess. But he learns that you can defeat a cast from the outside too, even though in the pilot he defeats a similar thing on the inside. And also for Christmas, it was kind of like between Christmas and New Year's where everyone starts getting in on Saharu, who is trying to bring a swindler to justice. So they all pretend to be family because that's kind of what he plays on. But he as someone who deals with evil spirits and stuff. Quite interesting. And his monster horror is based on Grinch. They've knocked out both pre-junior series, and I think there's only a few monsters left, actually. So for Battle Familia, a Revice bit here. Not sure if we'll get the Revice Geats team up in time for March. Subs, I think it's usually about 6 months and came out about 2-3 weeks ago. So I don't expect it till May, maybe late April at the absolute earliest. Yeah, so basically Akaishi had a partner who was depressed, losing all his loved ones, and went into hiding because all they're like ancient and stuff, and then he later hijacks 777 or Dreamliner with the parents, dragging the kids into basically steal their gift DNA, then battle the demon partners. Kind of saw in the trailers and stuff. And also Innocent has a past with him and becomes a writer briefly, and then there's also a pregnant woman who has their child and names it after them. About an hour long, the Deadmans have a cool reunion, and there's now a fourth child, and now that's the whole gonna lead to the plot of the next movie. Like just feels a little weird to me that having like two grown men. They have two grown adult sons. A daughter in high school, now they have a baby. Like, anyways, Christmas movies. Saw one brand new Christmas special this year, which was Fall Christmas, which was Lindsay TVFilm's return to the screen. And honestly, it makes sense. We started this year talking about one of our early films, The Parent Trap. So it makes sense to come back and close out at least the series and 2022, at least, for the series. We're talking about another Lindsay Lohan movie. It's better than a Hallmark movie than I expected, but still kind of in the vein of that. Now, so the Nordstrom remind me of the Hotel Jacobert in Austria, in Westendorf. It's just kind of charm that I like of the mountains, and yeah, no. Mars just can't compete with that type of energy. For instance, like the hotel where her dad owns is definitely very, very upscale, like a Ritz-Carlton type thing. And I said Christmas Ritual as well, which was Dolly Parton's Magical, not Unmagic Christmas. I feel kind of feels like a parody of a live production show where they doing inserts as well as adding in sort of like scenes that are just for a special between Dolly and other legends, like I forget if I say like Bill comes in like a flashback, but she has a duet with Miley for the special itself. I think of Jimmy Nelson and Jimmy Fallon in this, so she has a cutaway with Fallon, and then Nelson shows up as another like flashback type thing, and but I feel like some of the songs they feel like they're in there, they're kind of dumb, but I feel like kind of intended to be dumb, and some hilarious, like Go to Hell. There are like 2 carols in it that I found, and some of it is just country stuff. Like a strong family message in there, and I feel it was just designed to be relevant for like the times that we're in. Yeah, pretty decent special. Yep, that just means How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I finally rewatched that first time in here with my dad and step family. We all know some things. There's now like a very little tiny couple in there, and how meaningful it was, and maybe a little ahead of its time. So sometime later, I saw the beginning of the Illumination version, but maybe about the first 20 minutes or so. But you can only tell there was like clearly more of a difference, and But I do feel both versions aged up, like in the original story and the original special. So he's about 2, I would say. It's about like 5 or 6, but it's like it's kind of a small town vibe. So I guess we trusted a bit. You can be trusted a bit more, than maybe a 5 or 6-year-old in reality, especially here in North America. Yeah. Probably want to watch the Illumination one in full eventually, maybe next Christmas. I don't know, but I still need to watch like Rings of Power. Willow is interesting. There was a new season of Dr. Jeff that came out for Discovery Plus that I need to watch. But yeah. Can't think of anything else. Again, I said at the top of the stream, possible stream in March just to give DonBrothers its justice and the spinoffs and the summer movie. But yeah, that's all I've got to say on that. So, see if that happens. If not, this channel is probably dead. It's kind of a big old change of pace right now. Probably want to focus more on my personal things, and still doing stuff on Illustrated Leaders over winter. You have a whole Blue Sky series I piloted, and it was either the end. Yeah, it was around Thanksgiving. That was more theme park related, the one I had posted, but there's gonna be more trend stuff with that. So if you're interested in that, be sure to subscribe over there. But that's another show over here.